Hello everybody and welcome to the May 2024 update from Clydebridge Station, and I sincerely hope that you enjoyed the video from the Glenrothes Model Railway Show, which was video 139. This is video 140. So the series is coming on. It'll be going on for a hell of a long time, a lot longer than what I originally anticipated, but hey ho. In this month's update we're going to be replacing this here with a proper fuel storage tank, and I'll be trying to see if I can create a pipe here so we can have a place where they can deposit the fuel when it gets delivered. I'll also be carrying on down the end there with more track laying as well, and if we've got enough equipment we'll do a bit more work on getting concrete onto these strips here. So it sounds like it's not an awful lot in this month's update, but it is. And I'll also be trying to see if I can cure the electrical problems which has resulted in no power at the moment into platforms 5 and 6. Before I get underway with this month's update, just show you this little thing here. You can see what's happened to the shed. Now unfortunately the shed guarantee has sadly expired, but you can see that's car body repair filler I've put in there. What I'm thinking about doing in the future, however, is getting one sheet at a time of exterior plywood and putting a bit of it down that way so that these can still operate properly, and it would cover that. The other side here, you get to see this bit, you can see it's a hell of a lot worse, but again I've got a piece on there. I'm thinking about doing the same thing and a bit of exterior plywood over there which should cover all of that over. So that's what I'm going to be doing in the future. Now as you can see the weather's quite nice, so that's why I'm not trying to do too much in my videos. A, I don't want to rush jobs, but B, I've got other things to do, and especially with a garden in the condition that it's in, it's a nice enough garden, it needs to be kept that way. Just round here, by the way, that's this side of the shed painted. Now this is actually the south side of the shed, so that's painted. That's red cedar paint that I've used. You can get that in many retailers. So this side will be getting done next. I'll get the whole shed painted. So that's what's going to happen in this month's update. Well, I'm not going to show you how, the video of me painting it and let you see the paint dry. There's a video on YouTube already of 3 hours long where you can watch paint drying. I wouldn't recommend it. But this month, yep, it'll be the fuel storage tanks, track work, electrical problems getting sorted, new track down at the far end there to go to platform 1, and as I say, if I've got enough equipment, make a start on getting the concrete into platform, into these roads here. Now you'll also notice, by the way, that there's that these have bent up a little bit. That's not an issue, they can be weighed down again, so you wouldn't need to worry about that. Before I get underway, I'll just give a shout out to my good friends there at Wrangler, the clothing manufacturer famous for our jeans. So you can check them out, and also check out the two guys who got me back into railway modelling. Everard Junction, run by Richard Warren, Dean Park Station, run by David Watson. You'll find both of them here on Facebook. And also the stuff that I'm going to be using in this month's update for the kit that I'm going to be doing, and if I've got a chance to concrete as well, I'll put the links to those in the descriptions below so you can look at on the websites of West Hill Wagon Works and Scale Model Scenery. The track will be getting bought from Scooney Hobbies in Kirkcaldy. Obviously it's traditional track that you can buy from any local model railway shop. So that's what you're going to see this month. So without further ado, if you're all ready, all aboard and enjoy the programme, and any comments, queries, suggestions, please pop them in the comments box below. It's a bright sunny April Saturday afternoon as I film this, so apologies in advance. But this is a bit of the programme where I thought I'd been in a lot of trouble from Justin Noble and Everett Scale Model Scenery, and I will make apologies in advance. But this is the Scale Model Scenery storage tank kit. You can make it as 1, 2 or 3 tanks if you wish, and that was the kit I've used last year, but in reality it doesn't look a proper fuel tank kit. A fuel storage tank kit you'd find at a railway depot. This one from West Hill Wagon Works does, and it's this one that we're going to create. I got this at their stall at Model Rail Scotland back in February, so now is the time to come and do it. What you see here on the back, these are the support pins to hold the kit on while you get it all ready. It comes in this sort of grey colour. I'm actually going to spray it grey, and what I'm also going to do is I've looked very carefully at this design, and you can see it there as well. I'm thinking of having that like that, and then putting making a wall to go round that, similar to the brickwork that I've used on the retaining wall there. Now I don't know how well the camera could, there you go, and I'm going to use some sheets of that to make a wall to go round that and cover that up. It would be easier for me than trying to dismantle all of that, and in any case I think that this is actually part of the kit looking at it, so that's what I'll do. I'll have it raised off the ground a bit. Now I don't have my tripod here, so I'm going to put the camera like that, turn it like that so that I can see, and the first thing we've got to do is open the kit up. And this is the bit where you can't find the scissors, so we'll do it this way. There's the actual kit there for you, you can see that. Now if I put that down there, you can see the smaller space that it takes up, so the kit might actually stay like that instead, and that the way it'll be it takes up a smaller footprint than this one. No disrespect to this kit, however, but obviously it's not going to be required anymore. The first thing that's got to be properly done is that this whole thing needs to be sprayed grey. There is also, and I don't know if you can pick it out, there's a little sign there that says warning naked lights. I'm going to have a look online to actually see if you can get signs like that. I might actually have some down in my spare kit somewhere. The primer I'm going to use, the colour I'm going to use on this is a primer, and it's Halford's Grey primer, which I've got in the big shed over there. It'll be given 3 coats of it, and then we'll have a look at trying to build the wall that'll go all the way around this. And as I say, if you compare it to the size of that, it does take up a smaller footprint, and you can have it that way or that way. I'm going to have it that way just because it looks better that way. Now that's what I'm going to do. And also, whilst I've got the spray paint here, I'm going to spray up something else, and I'll talk about that during the video. And whilst I'm doing that, once you've watched this month's update, go and please check out 2 singers that I'm friends with. Preston D. Barnes, who's plays piano and keyboards and sings country music. Alistair James, who plays guitar and harmonica, is more into pop music. So if you check those 2 guys out. And one layout I'd like you to check out, please, is Dudley Central. So if you go and check them all out, please. One last thing you might be asking yourself is why am I not using this wall here? It's actually just a bit too small, the wall, so I'll make up a new wall around it, but I'd rather spray this first so that everything's sorted out ready. That's it getting drying now. and I'll give it a second coat later on. There's some ribbed lines that's shown up on that when I've sprayed it. That's quite interesting. I've also went and sprayed another West Hill Wagon Works product. And this is from the electrical cabinets kit. 5 big ones and 5 small ones. This is a small one, which is going to go into that little concrete area on the depot where the dropper wires go under the and it's just sort of disguise it. So that'll be going in there. Quite an ideal size for that sort of area. And then that'll be glued into position using laser cut kit glue, as I've done with another one. And then that'll be that bit completed. However, obviously I can't add a little fence to it because that would affect the clearances of locomotives turning from the junction into that, so it's going to have to be left exposed. Not ideal, but then this layout is set in 1989 to 91 when health and safety wasn't as rigorously as applied as what it is nowadays. These will get a second coat. Let that dry, they'll get a second coat, and then I'll come back to them and start to build the wall for the fuel storage tank kit. That's them now had their second coats, and that's all they'll get. I'm going to leave them to dry, and I'll do that for a few days to leave them to dry. But by the magic of YouTube, you'll just have to wait a few seconds to see those. And I'll give you 2 other layouts I'd like you to have a check at. Woodhill Park Model Railway, if you check him out please, and West Blythe MPD, if you could check him out please as well. Now, I don't know how well the sun picks this up, but that's the kit in position there. It still has to get its wall put around it, which we're going to do next. It's actually dried already, which I'm very pleased about. There we go, and I'll just place the camera just on there again so you can see it, because I need to show you this. I forgot I had these from when I got signs, the depot signage from Right Track Signs, and I've noticed that one of them, danger diesel fuel. Once I make the wall up, those 2, one on each side. So that's quite ideal. So I'll get the use of those. And there's some other signs here as well that I could use as well at some point. But I'm very happy to have found that. So that's quite a good bonus. So they'll get put onto the sign onto the brick wall after I've got that completed. I'll leave that in position there. You might have noticed all these joins, by the way, in the concrete. They'll get covered over the spare sheets of concrete. My mate Trevor Stubbs pointed that out, but that will get done as well. It's something that I will do once I've got all the concrete area in this part of the depot here all done. If I just pick the camera up, you can see the sort of things I'm meaning. Right there, for instance, you can see that I've covered the joins here, but not here yet. They're still a bit visible. So, but we'll get them sorted out. The electrical cabinet is actually drying still, and then that'll get stuck into position, and then the next task is to build a little wall to go round here. That's not going to be easy, and I'm going to have to talk you right through how I plan to do that. Just sending the camera around this way so you could see that I've got that now painted. Admittedly it's not the best, but I've done what I can, and I've also dry brushed in here, or using some paint that's at the bottom of a bit of paper, and we've put it on a bit to simulate oil leaks. That'll take a few days to dry, and then the wall will get built around it, and then I'll add the signage to that. So you'll see that later on in the programme. We'll be returning to this. In the meantime, we're going to stay at the depot to do the next job that I'm wanting to do. While the fuel tank's drying, here's the next job I'm going to be tackling, and that's getting the rest of these all done. Scale model scenery, I think that's 2mm modelling card, scale model scenery concrete sheets. And the plan is this time is there'll be a water outlet to supply each coach. So there'll be 3 in here and 3 in here, and 1 each here and here for the locomotives. That'll give us 8. They're from West Hill Wagon Works, and then when I've decided where I'm going to site each one, before I put each water standpipe in, I'm going to hunt out my scale model scenery manhole covers and put them into position where I want them, and then I'll glue these all down. The easiest way for me to explain all of this to you is to actually take this one first of all, get it wrapped, and then work out where I'm going to put the standpipe. I think I've made a little mark there, so that looks to be an ideal place for that one. And then get that down and show you where I'm going to put the manhole covers. I've zoomed right in so you can see this one. That is one of the 4 water standpipes from the West Hill Wagon Works kit. I zoom the camera back out. It gives you an indication of how small it is. Included with the kit is this sort of piece of rubber which simulates a hose. The rubber is 14 centimetres long, so you can cut it into 4 sections, 3.5 centimetres each in length, and then you would attach that to your standpipe. I would use laser cut kit glue on that, but don't attach it until after you've painted this, and that's the job I'm going to do next. Give that a paint. I've also put a drain cover in here, and I've got 4 to put in. 1, 2, about a 3rd one here and a 4th one here to be in the middle of it all. And if I just turn up here, I don't know who, that's the kit by the way. I've got 2 kits at Model Rail Scotland. I've made that's my little mark there, and the drain cover would be in a line approximate to that. So I've got my first one in position there, and I'll need to get the next one in position. Put that in there like that, probably around onto this piece here, so this bit will be able to get glued down now, and I'll do that next, being done with Yoo-Hoo. As I say, they're very tiny, these. You just, there you go, it shows you how tiny they are. And that's my mark where I'm going to put the first one for the first servicing of the locos. This is the sprue that they come on, and as you can see, they are absolutely tiny, but they will do the job. And that's the rest of the hose. By the way, these are easy, not just the hose but the standpipes, they are easy to lose, so be very careful with them. I'm going to go and start painting this one up and then get it into position with a hose. We'll see what that's like afterwards. Now, I'm acutely well aware of the jokes of that you need a magnifying glass to see them, but that is absolutely the case, by the way. But they are 00 gauge size, so they're the right ones. Now, if I just show you the pack again, look how small they are compared to the fitter in the photograph, and that shows you. That's approximately the right size. Now these could be put onto ballast or gravel, or as you can see, they're simulated wood, but you can also put them onto concrete, and that's what I've done here. I've put it onto concrete, and as you see, I'll have the drain going that way. I'll go and get this first one painted up. It'll be painted black, and once the paint has dried, I'll glue it into position. That's the concrete for this road almost done. what I have to do next is get the drain cover done round here and get one in there. And this is where things get a little bit hilarious. I showed you how tiny these are. I've lost one of them. I don't know where it's gone to, but I've got to order drains from Scale Model Scenery anyway for other parts of the layout, so in all honesty it's not going to make too much of a difference, because I'll still have to I'll still be able to carry on with the project now. And also the line of where the drains are going to be, the drain covers are going to be, this will actually probably be where I'll cover over two bits together, just to allow me to have hide the joins in between the pieces of modelling card. So that's a slight oops there. Before I crack on, just time for a quick shout out for my friends Danny, Caden and the rest of the guys in the Glasgow based boy band Just the Brave. They are planning one day to come to this layout and see it, and they're planning to name a locomotive as well, 47461 Charles Rennie Mackintosh. So that'll be coming up at some point in the very near future. So please go and check them out. And also check out, you find them actually by the way on Instagram, Just the Brave. And also check out on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, DJ Lee Butler, who cut his teeth at the Bootle version of the Quadrant Park nightclub. Now, when the street scene comes to get rebuilt with a new road surface rather than the wood that you see there, the Quadrant Park will get rebuilt and I'll make it look a hell of a lot better. Same idea though, but it'll look a hell of a lot better than what it is right now. So that will happen at some point, but that's well into the future. I don't know how well the camera can pick that up, but I've managed to glue the standpipes themselves into place without the hoses, so I will apply the hoses to them. I've then got another 4 to go and paint, 3 for this one and 1 for here. I'll have to get around the problem with the drain cover, as I've used a much larger one. I'll just send this over here, you can see it there. I'll just have to do that for there. That'll then complete this whole area here. These will get glued, these will get concreted over and then glued down, and then that'll complete that part of the depot work. There's obviously several other things that I'm wanting to put in to the depot area, including more signs such as stop, await instructions. That one there, that'll have to sit somewhere about probably here. I'll put that back up there now. So that'll be for a later time before we can carry on putting any more ballast in here. Trackside telephones as well, I've got some of them, and I'll put a couple here at the depot area, one here and probably one, I'd imagine, here. So that's again very much for the future, but you will see them at some point as well. So there's quite a few things to go on at the depot area. And obviously I've got to cover the joins in between the concrete strips, which will get done. That was Trevor Stubbs' idea. Walkways as well. I don't know if these are going to be suitable or if I'll have to order new ones. I shall see. But I do need to make some walkways up. Obviously these coaches would not normally be here. So quite a bit that I've still got to do. The depot is taking shape, but like everything else it's going to take a long while to get done. But it is starting to look more like a depot now. So I'll go ahead and get these concreted and then glued down, and we'll get the the standpipes all done and dusted, and then show you the finished article, and then we'll move on to the track area. They're both now in position, both sides. When I was making these, or taking them off the sprues, one of them broke. I broke one of them, which has resulted in obviously me having one missing, which would be there. Not a great inconvenience at the moment. They only come in packs of 4, so I will order another one at some point in the future to go in there. And I won't be putting a drain cover in here until I've got this bit all concreted over here, the joins that is. Yeah, it's a slight inconvenience, but that's these standpipes in position. You can just see them there. Now they have a tendency sometimes to possibly drop off, so just watch. I've put these ones on with UHU glue, so just keep an eye out to make sure they're okay. You may need to use laser cut kit glue or rocket card glue for them, but they're now in position and they're help add some realism to the depot. Right, onto the track now. I'm about to try and see if I can get my soldering iron to work. If not, I'll have to go down to Scooney Hobbies in Kirkcaldy to get a new one when I take a certain locomotive to get its decoder fitted. You'll briefly hear about that at the end of the video. But if I just turn the camera along this way, there is a small bit of track work that I've done on the layout so far, and I will be doing a little bit more off camera. And it also gives me the chance to show you briefly the new locomotive here, 37428 David Lloyd George. Again, there'll be a separate video for this and the new arrival 37401, an unbranded intercity livery. So why have I got 337s now when I previously didn't want them? Well, apart from the pressure I was sort of put under, it gives me the opportunity to do a Clydebridge to Fort William service twice a day. These locomotives are just going to be exactly handy for that, and with David Lloyd George being the new locomotive, it gives me the chance to test the locomotive in this bit of track. What I'm going to do off camera once all the soldering's done is see if I can get the track cleaned down the ramp, and 37428 would be an ideal locomotive to go and propel the track cleaning wagon. I'll just briefly run it off that new curve that's been put in. I'm just going to stop it there. Off camera I'll be doing testing of this junction as well, just to see how things perform, but it looks like I could do with some more cleaning here. I'll get that sorted though. At some point off camera I'll be laying more cork to put that curve in, and then making a start on platform 1. My feeling is if I get platform 1 done, that'll allow me to start installing the new retaining wall along here, making the alterations so it's the same height as that, and it'll also allow me to have the push-pull operating, so it'll give you access to this line in proper, because this line only provides direct access into 1, 2 and 3. To go into 4, 5 and 6 they have to come up this track or reverse at the crossover and go in, and I still have the problems with the track into 5 and 6, which we're going to have to address. So that's a brief view there of 37428 David Lloyd George. And as I say, off camera he will propel the track cleaning wagon down the ramp, so that'll be get a good idea of how things are with that. Oh, and while I mind, if you're wondering where I'm going to be storing all these extra locomotives, well, don't worry. A lot of the old stuff that I'm selling off, the storage boxes will be useful for putting these in. And what will happen is I'll glue track into the base of the boxes, so it can sit a locomotive on each one, straight bits of track. So nothing is going to be wasted there. The boxes will still come in useful, and plus I'll get a little bit of cash for the stuff that I'm selling on eBay. This locomotive came from Birkenhead, by the way, and I am actually the third owner of it, but we'll go into more detail about that in another video. Looks pretty good, doesn't it? Now, off camera I've done some testing after soldering this on, and locomotives are not getting, well, they're working into platform 4, but if I put this loco down here, they're approximately getting into here, and that's it where they're stopping. So clearly there's a technical issue that needs to be resolved, and my friends, my technical boffins, will no doubt get to the bottom of it. But we know that this is working in here. The track does need a hell of a clean, so as I say, that's going to be done off camera, probably between the May and June updates. There's really not much else for me to report on the track work at the moment then, therefore, but I'll get these dropper wires soldered back on at some point and onto here, and then we'll keep working away at that, and obviously continue with the laying of the road into platform number 1, so hopefully by the time of the June update we should be a little bit further on with progress on the road into platform 1. It'll mean me temporarily moving the ScotRail Express train somewhere else, but we'll hopefully have all that sorted out by then. Once the track issues are resolved, of course, new buffer stops will get introduced to your Gauge Master ones. That'll also mean that they'll be much more like this, as you could see here, and these ones will just start going for scrap or put up for sale. It does mean a big rebuild, of course, of the station and the platforms, which will be taking place over the next few years. But hey ho, it's great fun, isn't it? Now that's where we're up to with the track, and obviously there'll be more done next month. We'll get back on now to the depot area, and we're going to be starting work on making a wall for this. To make the base that this will sit on, first of all I've took some 1mm scale model scenery modelling card. I put the tank down, and the base is slightly bigger than what the tank base is. I'll cut it here and here. Then the plan is to use some of the SMS brick to make the walls up, using some more grey board modelling card, but I've got this stuff here. I don't know how much of it I've got, but this is 2mm thick, so that'll be ideal. And while that's drying, I'll put some concrete on top of this, and then we'll get the base the tank sat into it. Now, whilst you're actually enjoying me doing this, check out Pride Parkway. Jeff runs that. It's a 2-tier layout with a double gauge on the top, N gauge below, so it's worth checking that out. Very good arrangement that Jeff's got there at Pride Parkway. You'll find it here on YouTube and also on Twitter. It's difficult to see with the sun, but that is, it's impossible at me. That's me at the halfway stage with it. These are 1 centimetre high each, so I've got to just put the ones in here next and here. I must confess, when I'd done this one, I cut it to the wrong height, so I had to redo it. And these will go in here. I'll have to then get spare brick to do the corner bits round here. Coping stones will be applied at a later date. Not well picked out by the sun, but that's it in position. This is not glued in, and that's going to be the case in case something happens I need to take it out. Coping stones will be needed round it, but it forms a sort of concrete base, and it's improved, I think, the actual product itself from West Hill Wagon Works. There's one last thing I'm going to do in this month's update, or at least going to attempt to do, and it's actually this narrow concrete concrete strip here. I don't know how well the camera picks that up. I'm going to try and install a facility for the offloading of fuel from a tanker wagon to fill up the tank. So that's what I'm going to do. I've got some of these, which I'll cut the ends off, and I'll attempt to see if I can actually make one of those and then put it along just in this bit here. That's going to be the last bit of the update this month. I don't know how well the camera can pick that up, but this is the second attempt at it. This was the first attempt using a piece of dropper wire and some cotton buds. That doesn't look good. This is my second attempt, and you can see here I've actually used solder. Now I've got to make sure it doesn't get stuck to the wood. So I'm going to get that into position at the fuel point and see if it's actually going to stay upright, and if it does, then that'll be all good and well. I'll get that checked out right now for you. One thing just to point out, this is actually being glued on with Yoo-Hoo glue, these parts, not soldered, so please just bear that in mind. This is about the best angle I'm going to get of it. It's not really ideal, but it's in there now, and I'll be able to run a locomotive in there. So that completes this update, the May 2024 update. Now the plan next month is to do some more work on the retaining wall that you see there. Try and continue getting the track work sorted out and iron out the track work problems preventing access into platforms 5 and 6. And probably do a little bit of work on the ballast in these 3 roads here, certainly at the start of them. In between the now and the June update, we'll also be looking at some English electric Type 3 traction. So we've got David Lloyd George there, and we've got the new arrival Mary Queen of Scots, and we've got one more loco, another Class 37 to come. These will be the 4 Class 37s that will be used exclusively on the Clydebridge to Fort William service that will be launching as part of the upgrades to the layout. And you'll see that happening at some point in the future as well. It's all very much work in progress here at Clydebridge Station, and that work in progress will continue next month. I hope you've enjoyed this month's programme, and I want to also finish off by pointing out that if you weren't paying attention, you'll have noticed when I put the photos of this on the Clydebridge Station Facebook page, somebody pointed out that I'd actually left it on the sprues, so I've took the sprues off now, and it looks a lot better. That needs to get finished off at some point, and we'll do that in the near future as well. Get coping stones round that. But anyway, that's all for this month. So all it remains for me to do is to say thank you very much indeed for watching, and please, whatever you do take care of yourselves, won't you? And enjoy your layouts, and I shall see you soon. Goodbye for now.